Good morning, good morning, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are watching in the world. It is good to see each and every one of you here. It is Sunday, not Saturday. I'm not used to doing a live on Sunday, but here we are. We are going to have a good time. I have my friend Katy here from Greenland Quilter, and we are working on the Star Climber pattern from Water Shop. This is a project we're doing together. We started last month, and we are working on the courthouse steps. We are going to continue on with that because I still need to make progress on mine because I did manage to make one of these last time, and then I made 7 partial ones that I goofed up. So we're going to start off with my very, very best friends, Jack the Seam Ripper. You're going to do some ripping, and then we're going to finish off these blocks. And then, Katy, you're also going to work on the courthouse steps too, correct?
Yeah, because you said you weren't ready to do the star.
No, not yet. It's been a week. So, but we're going to have some fun with this, and I figured this would give everybody a chance to catch up as well because I know some people were waiting on the paper for their projects and so forth. So I figured this would be a good way to catch up. So let's see. For anyone that doesn't know Katy, I'm just going to give her an opportunity to introduce herself. I think most of you know Katy already, but we may have a couple of people popping in to see this that aren't familiar with Katy. So do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Hey everyone, my name is Katy of Greenland Quilter, and yes, I live in Greenland, South Greenland actually. I've been living here for 13 years now, and I'm married to a native Greenlander, and me and him have been married for 14 years. So that's why I live in Greenland. I spent most of my life in Florida from 1967 until 2011 before I made this big migration. So, yeah. My channel is about a year and a half old now, and it's green. The channel is called Greenland Quilter, and it's a combination of this hobby that I picked up making quilts, and I also show lots of videos about Greenland. And we started doing a educational live called "What Do You Know About Greenland?" and we'll be doing that over a several month period. One a month, except for when my husband is at sea, and when he's not, or when he's at sea, there won't be any. But anyway, it's a combination of my hobbies, living here in Greenland, and whatever else I could come up with. And I get to talk to all you fine people, and I've made quite a few friends, I think. And so,
I'm sure. Yeah,
and I'm
you have a lot of good content. So yeah, definitely check out Katy's channel. If you're watching the live here with us right now, you can hit !Katy, Katy, or !guest. Either one will work for you. And if you're watching the replay, Katy's channel should be in the description. If not, I'll fix it before too much longer. But I just want to say good morning to everybody that's here in the chat. We have, let's see, it looks like Laurie Colgan was here with us first. I got to catch up with her again yesterday. I met up with her and a couple of the others at the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Festival. That was a lot of fun. Good morning to Miss Polly. Good morning to Miss Chloe. It's good to see you as well. Pat is here with us as well. She said she's going to be working on her courthouse step blocks. Let's see. I think Sheila popped in. I got to meet her yesterday as well, which was really, really cool. Sandy is here with us as well. And Kathy Klein. I think I caught everybody that's in the chat, and then Pasita as well. How did I miss my friend Pasita? That's terrible. So there we go. But we're going to have a lot of fun. I said I'm already starting to rip out my the ones that I messed up last time because I haven't worked on these since. I thought it'd be fun just to work on this while I am hanging out with my mate Katy. So what have you been up to recently, Katy? Have you had anything, like any fun projects, anything exciting going on, any fun day trips in your part of the world?
what have I been doing? Oh my gosh. I have so many projects going on right now. I have the collaboration Star Climber with Sean, and that's a once a month collaboration. And then I'm doing a collaboration with So Blessed with Jess. We are working on the Magnolia. It's a modern quilt pattern, and we're putting our own. She's doing 2 different ones, and one she's doing in 2 tones of blue, and the other one she's using. I think it's called Kaleidoscope by Corey Yoder. And that fabric is so bright and happy. I just love it. And I'm doing mine in a dark blue with yellow and red, just small chunks of it to make it more interesting. I also am doing a collaboration with Sherry. She's teaching us how to hand quilt, since that's a dying art these days. And once a month, I have a live with Danny of So Not an Expert, and we're talking about the hard things concerning mental health and how we tie our mental health in with our hobbies. And we're trying to set up or trying to get a community started so that if someone needs to talk, they know where they can go. And the first live went really well. In fact, it went super well. I was shocked. I figured people wouldn't come, and people did, and it was a really positive experience for everybody that was sitting in there. And so as long as it stays as long as it goes in that way, I think it's going to help people, especially when we start getting a bit of an established community for it, so that when people need help, they can come and say, I need to talk, And the other things I'm working on right now, I'm working on a Tula Pink dragon fruit sew along through Fat Quarter Shop. It's a monthly sew along, and I'm making that for my oldest granddaughter, Abby. I'm also working on my Sugary Doo, which I'm way behind on. I also participate in Cotton Cuts PMQ, so I have that going on, and I'm waiting on my full kit of Flyaway Phoenix, so I'm waiting on that. And let me see what else. I have a lot of things going on, and I've been teaching. There's a book that I have called Quilt Makers 1000 Blocks book, and I've been pulling a block out every other week, and this is an example of one.
Yeah,
this one's called French. Yeah, this one's called French Twist, and then I have one called Railroad Crossing that I've done. And next week we'll be doing block number 3. So we're going to be doing that until people get tired of doing it.
Right.
It's been a bit. It started out with just maybe one or two of us having the book, and then we went to Amazon and I couldn't find the book. And then suddenly the book's back on Amazon. So some are participating in the sew along, and we're posting the pictures in the Facebook group, and anyone who doesn't use Facebook can send it to me in an email, and I'll put it over on my community tab. So I'm trying to do a bit of tutorials, trying to do a little bit something different. I've got 2 different sew-alongs going on that relates to trying to use up charm pack stashes, because this girl, I have 141 charm packs. Now, those 141 charm packs were bought between 2015 to 2019, and I haven't bought any since 2020. And so these are just been sitting in my container, and I'm like, it's time to do something with it. So we are doing a panel sew along that we're designing as we go along, and the other one is Fat Quarter Shop had another free pattern called Charm Pack Chili. So I'm test running that one and see if I will continue to like it or not. So I've got lots of things going on, and I talk too much.
That's okay. It makes my job easier. But yeah, it's like I'm tired just listening to that. Like I keep up with. I had a lot going on, but you've got me beat. So
well, you have a job, Sean, and and I get that. One of the things that I did this time is for 2024, I planned one thing at the beginning of last year. And after that, it just kind of, I don't know. I went to the United States and I got behind on everything that I was planning on working on. And then I just, and then from that point on, I winged it the whole year. I didn't really have anything pre-planned. Y'all might have thought I pre-planned everything, but it was like the day before or the day of, I would say, okay, we're going to do this. So in January, I took 3 weeks off. I didn't do any lives. I didn't do any recordings. But what I did do was sit down, because I was talking to someone about this. I sat down with a notepad and a pencil, and I wrote down everything that I thought I wanted to do with my channel, because I've been trying to figure out where I want my channel to go. I really didn't have an idea of how I wanted it to evolve. And so I sat
Right.
down and I wrote about that, and I wrote about what I would like to get done during the year because I have a lot of UFOs too. And I finally formulated an outline, and the outline's on my blog, and it's quite long. And someone made the comment, wow, that's a lot of stuff. But from my point of view, if I can accomplish 50% of what I wrote in that outline, that is an accomplishment for me. Because last year I finished maybe 6 quilt tops, but I have 20 UFOs, maybe more than that. And so my goal this year is if I can knock out 5 or 6 UFOs while doing my other things, while helping everybody learn, and I hope that they won't get bored. And, I'm just trying to keep it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, in some respects too, like someone told me this was it last year or year before? It might have been Chloe. She said that she likes, like I have a million projects going on at once, same as you. And she told me it was really nice to see something different. I think it's kind of fun to show different projects because, yeah, if you're really invested in a particular project, yeah, you want to see as much content on that as you physically can. But if you're an average viewer that just likes a little bit of everything, I think it's fun to bounce around from project to project, or do what you do, where you have, once a month you with me, once a month you have a different project with Jess and Danny and everything else. And that way, it keeps it interesting for everybody. But as I said, everyone's different. But so that's kind of something that I'm pretty sure it was Chloe that told me that when I met up with her a couple of years ago. And that's kind of resonated with me a lot, which is really, really fun. So, yeah, keep it up. I think you're doing a good job. You have something to interest everybody, and it's like myself. Like some people come and watch my podcast only. Some come on watch my lives only. I think if you have a good variety, you might not have everybody watch everything, but you should have something that appeals to a lot of people. And I think it's one of the reasons that your channel has just exploded and you're doing so well. I mean, you're over 4,000 subscribers now. I mean, you've been open a year and a half. You're doing fantastic.
Yeah, I'm over 4,000 right now. And last week, I got a notification telling me that I now have 400 videos on my YouTube channel, which I thought I might be creeping up close to that 5 mark, but I wasn't sure because when you go through there, I couldn't figure out how to count them because I like to, like, what do you call it? Put them in little you can say, okay, you want this video to be located in such and such title of a grouping. And so
Like
I have several.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like playlists. Yeah, I've made multiple playlists, and some of the videos might be in 2 playlists. Say like some of my podcasts I have some podcast interviews that were live, so I had them stuck on our podcast and live. Or like when I do my Greenland ones, they might be Greenland weather, and then also South Greenland because it was going on in South Greenland. But I've been working on trying to fine tune that more, and it's going to take me a little while because I have so many of them now to figure out how fine tune I want to do it. But I was going to mention something else while we're talking about our goals or what we want to do. One thing I've been talking a lot about is slowing down.
Oh, for sure.
Especially when it comes to these so-alongs and projects. I have no interest in speeding through anything. Life is fast. Everything's got to hurry up and get it done, and I discovered that I prefer the process more than I do with let's hurry up and get it done in a week. Because I find that it stresses me out. It makes me feel stressed out if I have to hurry up and get it done. But if I can
enjoy the journey, absolutely
enjoy the journey and take everyone with me, especially on these collaborations collaboration so-alongs, as well as the channel so-along. If we can just go a little bit slow, and just do the process and enjoy it, and let everybody participate in it, maybe everybody will get more fun out of it. Maybe. I know there's still some going to want to hurry up and get it done. But I think that if we can help each other slow down a little bit, enjoy the process, enjoy the camaraderie between each other, maybe it'll help us through periods when life is overwhelming and you're just like, I want to escape,
Yeah,
Can
and
I
I think
show
it's good to
you?
have it. I mean, some people do want to go fast. That's one reason people
Yeah,
have industrial machines. That stitch at 1,500 stitches a minute. And so if that's you and you want to go at 100 miles an hour, go for it. But it's also nice to be able to slow down. Like I'm definitely a person that likes to enjoy the journey. I try to stay caught up where I can. But if I fall behind, I fall behind. I really do not mind. Like
yeah.
the solo longs I do with Art East. The Wizard of Oz, I finished that a year and some change after the official end date. The Alice in Wonderland, that finished last May. I still have 3 blocks of that to do. I'll get it done when I'm ready. I'm really not that worried about it. Winnie the Pooh, I'm only a month behind on that. I'm doing okay with him so far. But again, it may be Christmas before I'm done, but that's okay. I'm enjoying the journey. I'm enjoying really showing everybody what I get up to. And that sort of thing there. So I think that is a good tip. As I say, if you want to stay caught up and you can do it, great. But don't ever beat yourself up if you can't, because we all do our own sewing journey. Like Katie said earlier, some of us work full time. We may have families to look after. We may be caretakers for others. So yeah, like the fact that I can sit, I might be able to sit down for 6 hours one day and sew. Other people might struggle to get that amount of free time in a week. So,
Some of
make the
us
best.
might have the free time, but struggle to sit for 6 hours or so. So, you know,
Well, you sometimes like you may struggle with ADD or something like that where you
yeah,
can't sit still long enough to
yeah,
that sort of thing. There, like we all have our own. We're all running our own race. So don't. I think my takeaway from this is don't ever beat yourself up if you fall behind on a solo long. Just have fun with it. Enjoy it. I mean, this is our craft and fun time. Like you don't want to make this a job. I
exactly.
guess
It's supposed to be fun and relaxing. Yes, we get aggravated sometimes because maybe we did boo boos or whatever, but it's mainly so that it's good for mental health, period.
yeah.
And, and when you accomplish things, it makes you feel happy and accomplished and it just makes you feel good all over. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, don't take us wrong either. Like if you want to go fast and you can keep up with it,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not
I'm not
bashing you
saying
for
to
that.
not
Like
do
go
it.
for it.
I'm just pointing out that that's something we don't talk about is we see a lot of people that can sew fast. Heck, I want to be Tiffany. Tiffany is the most amazing sewer I have ever seen in my life because she doesn't just sew fast, but she designs on the fly. And I want to do that. Just come up with an idea, do it on a live, and have fun with it. And I might not because I'm a slower sewer, but I would like to share it so that we can sew it together. And if we don't get it finished in that live like she does, that's okay too. But she shows us a skill that I would love to have because I think it would be a lot of fun. And Chloe made a comment, and I wanted to mention something about that. She said, to finish projects takes determination. Yes,
Mhm.
definitely. So that's why we should never ever beat ourselves up when we don't finish it right away or it takes us twice as long as someone else. One thing Sean told me early on when he was because he mentored me a lot in the beginning of my channel. He said, don't compare my channel to other channels. Don't compare what I'm doing to other channels because it'll just cause me aggravation. And he's
Oh, for sure.
right. You shouldn't and it's the same thing with making quilts or making crafts or whatever you're doing. Try not to compare how you do something or how long it takes you to do something with how fast someone else gets it done. All I'm trying to promote here is let's slow down a little bit so we can enjoy it more.
Yeah,
Some people
definitely
really love, yeah,
enjoy the journey. I think that's a good lesson to learn today. If you get nothing else from us today, and you've learned that just enjoy the journey, and it's okay that you're not as fast as someone else. That's fine because if we all compared ourselves to Tiffany, she is the most wonderful lady. I got to meet her last year at QuiltCon. Fantastic person. I love her to death. I'll never sew half as fast as her, but I'm okay with that.
me neither.
Because,
But she's amazing, and I want to be her grasshopper.
well, it's kind of like when like I went to the Mid Atlantic Quilt Festival yesterday, and like some of the quilting on these quilts, my goodness, like you see the bubble work and this and that, and like this quilting is absolutely immaculate. And I don't know that I'll ever get to that level or even close to it. And if I do, it'll be 20 years from now. But it's kind of nice to see what can be done.
Yeah.
Without, yeah, it's nice to see that people can do this stuff, even if I can't now or ever, So
Yep. And I
there you
decided I
go.
wanted to learn a new skill to add to, because I still consider myself to be maybe an advanced beginner, because there's a lot of things that if you want to, I guess it's how you define or how you label yourself, but a lot of times when you're an intermediate or advanced sewer or quilter, it's because you have a huge skill set. I'm still learning things. Like I've never done curves. I've never done applique. I've done reverse applique, but I haven't done regular applique. So to me, that defines that I'm still not out of that beginning box. But having met Sherry of my quilting world, she opened up another window that I hadn't considered doing, because I don't know how to hand sew until we did our first live. And I want y'all to check this out. I have never done hand quilting, much less hand sewing. And this is me practicing my homework assignment.
That looks pretty darn even to me. I mean, yeah, I mean, I would have said that was a machine stitch. I mean, yeah, that's. I mean, I'm no
Yeah,
expert
I
on
mean,
hand
there's
stitching, but
mistakes. Yeah, there's like uneven stitches from, odd, a little here, a little there, but I
yeah,
think I
we're
get
our
pretty
worst
good.
critics too. Remember?
Yeah, we are. And on the back of it, you can't really see as well on the back how it looks.
Yeah.
But yeah, and this is a new thing for me. And two or three people made the comment that once you learn how to do it, it's addictive. So she gave the homework assignment, and while we were working on it
Oh
in the
boy.
live. But
I
after
mean,
the
I
live,
don't
I
do
took it to
homework.
the bedroom and I was practicing, and I couldn't stop.
It is a neat skill. Like the only hand stitching I've really done is I've hand stitched a hanging sleeve onto actually that quilt there behind me,
Yeah,
and then I hand stitched the corners on the back of the binding because that's what this quilt show requires. And then I've also learned how to do like hand embroidery with not the Wizard of Oz, this project. Let me just grab it real quick. Uh, poo and stuff. And I haven't hand stitched this yet, but we put the word honey on these pods, and I've learned how to hand stitch this. And I don't have the ones that I've done, but that's been fun, and it's actually easier than you think it is. Like I always was scared of hand stitching, but it's not as bad as you might
I
think.
was
So
scared
yeah,
of it.
but it's
Oh,
like that
you
with a
should
lot of
see.
things. Like a lot of these techniques, you think to yourself, okay, like this is going to be too difficult. Like foundation paper piecing. Like when I saw Toasty, I
Mhm.
was like, that thing absolutely terrified me. And I know you're terrified of your um, polar
Yeah, I
bear
still
one.
haven't started it.
It,
I'm
well, you got
frightened of it.
very soon. You and I, if I have to come over and um, push you down the hill or something like that, then we will get we'll get you started on that because like that thing terrified me. Like I delayed getting the fabric for so long, and then I got the fabric and then it still sat there for a couple of weeks, and I'm like, okay, Sean, come on, seriously, just start it. Find the easiest block. Find the section with like 4 pieces of fabric. Well, some of the blocks had 1 piece. It's like the background only. I was like, that's cheating. But you start off with the easiest block because of those things. You don't have to start with A1. You can start if C7 is the easiest block. Do
Yeah,
C7. Start with the easy because what'll happen there is, and this is what happened to me, is I did that block with, and I had I think 6 or 7 pieces. It still took me 3 hours because I didn't know what I was doing, and I double checked, triple checked, quadruple checked, so I didn't have to pull it out of my very very bestest friend. But I got it done, error free. And that gave me so much confidence. I was like, okay, maybe I can tackle one of the smaller sections. And I tried that and I got it done. And so, yeah, with that, you've just got to start it. Just try it. It's not going to be perfect. You will not win an award at the state fair with your first time doing something unless you're amazing or very, very lucky
yeah,
or both.
yeah.
But, you've got to start somewhere. And it's like anything else. You'll start and you'll see improvement very, very quickly. So, Yeah, Cherie says we can all relate to being afraid to start. Yeah, I've gone through that with a lot of stuff. Like the first time I tried what I would call art quilting with when I did like a little Dachshund face on a stocking. I was terrified of that, but it turned out really nice. I was actually surprised on how well it looked. Yeah, all that sort of stuff there. So
I'm going to show you. I did a this week. I know you probably noticed that a lot of my quilts don't have green in them because I'm not big on green. I don't hate the green. I just certain greens just don't talk to me. So I decided that on this star climber, I'm formulating on how I want this quilt top to look in my head. And so I noticed that I'm basically with this courthouse stairs kind of leaning more toward the cooler colors. And then I
right.
think I'm going to take the star and I'm going to use all warm and hot colors in it. So
Yeah,
you're
that'd
going
be
to
fun.
see this bright stuff, bright stars, but the courthouse stairs will be cooler. But I did a little a 2-block study using greens.
Oh, that's fun.
And I'm actually, let's hold it straight. I actually think this works.
It
And
does. I think it looks really nice.
yeah, I think it'll be fine in there. And I'm fixing to start another set of cool colors. And when I get at least 2 of them get together, I'll show you what they look like. But I think I'm going to just rotate between all the cooler and maybe dark colors. And like this one, you see, I have the lighter up on the outside and the darker parts on the inside. But on this one, I took the darker colors on the outside and the lighters are on the inside, just to kind of give you a contrast. They both are the same colors, you can see, but they look different because I did that to them. And then I'll figure out how I'll do the layout by doing these blocks where it looks that way too. So and the other blocks are like this is another one, but I used the warm color in there, but it's hard to see this yellow with this white. But it's okay.
Right.
I'm going to leave it like that. I'm not going to change it. But it's giving me, because this was the first block I made, but it's giving me an idea of how I want what I'm trying to lean more toward. And this one's going to be pretty in there too. There's nothing wrong with it. So, yeah. Hey, Donna, have a great day.
So Donna's on the way out. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thanks for hopping in for a minute. So yeah, let's throw this question out to the audience because I think you said that you don't use a lot of green. I think we all probably have at least one color in the spectrum that we don't use a lot. So let me know in the comments if you're watching the replay, and let me know on the live chat, what color do you not use a lot of in your quilting? And I'm trying to think what it'd be for me.
And those of you that don't use a certain color much, I bet you have a lot of it in your stash, because I know I do. Batik, but most everybody knows that I am totally smitten by batiks because most of my quilts are being done in batiks except for
Speaking of batiks, I need to show you some that I got yesterday.
I'm going to be jealous. Because I haven't bought anything since November.
Well, we did a block swap with our online guild that I host, and
oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have missed that.
Well, we'll do another one next. We'll do another one next year. So in that way, what you might be able to do, I cheated. I ran the thing. We had, I think, 12 people participate in this, and it looks like some of you guys are actually in here. Pasita's part of it. Nadine is. Chloe is. A couple of others. Sheila is, and so I saw Sheila was part of the guild, part of the swap, and she lives like an hour up the road from me. I knew she was coming to the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Festival, so I partnered with her. I assigned myself to her because I figured, hey, why waste money on postage when we're both going to the same event? We'll just swap it there. So what we did is we swapped 2 fat quarters to each, to our partner, and I gave her a couple of batiks because she was looking for some teals and that sort of thing there. So I had a couple of that I thought would suit her really well, and she gave me these 2.
Those are ooh!
I know these are absolutely amazing.
I love those. Those are fantastic.
I know. All right. When she gave me these, I was like, "Oh, this is absolutely fantastic." So I meant to show these on the podcast. I forgot to show it in the podcast this morning, because that was a mess. I normally record it late at night, like at 10:30, 11 o'clock. Once everyone goes to bed, I'm usually up recording. But the dogs were running around. They were making a whole lot of noise. I could not get them to be quiet. So I was like, okay, let's just go to sleep, because we'll go to sleep. And then I was up at 6 o'clock this morning, I'm recording the podcast. So once you finish watching this live, it's actually up and running. I didn't get it done in time, but I actually got it done before this live started. So
Yeah.
if I sound like a hot mess on the live, that's why. But those are the two fat quarters that he sent me. I'm absolutely in love with those. I've got to figure out what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, as for me, the color, I like to do rainbow I like to put every color in the spectrum into pretty much every quilt that I do. But I think if I had to pick a color I don't use a lot of, it would be a tie between brown and orange. I don't have much of either in my stash, because I tend to go out and buy what I need. I still have a sizable stash, but like especially recently in the last few years, I don't go out and buy stuff unless I need it. So since I don't use it a whole lot, I don't have a whole lot, which is kind of nice. It looks like Polly says here, yellow, orange, and browns. And nope, I don't have much of my fabrics, but I did realize a little bit of yellow or orange will help them design pot. Yeah, I mean, they're beautiful colors. I just don't, I don't know why. I just don't use a whole lot. But I did get new Soul, what was it, the 5.0, I think it is, that Cotton Cuts did. They have a one-day puzzle mystery quilt thing that they were selling, and they had it was they called it hot, hot, hot. It was like red, orange, and yellows, and I saw that thing.
Oh, yeah,
like,
I saw that so long on the 29th.
Yeah, I saw that colorway of the red, orange, and yellows, and I was like, yeah, that I need that in my life. So I hit the buy button, and that sort of thing there. Okay, so before we go any further,
there was some more that mentioned some. Charlotte said orange. Christina said brown, black, yellow. Persida, I hope I said your name right.
Yep, you did.
Black, brown. Charlene said brown. Yep. So that was the comments on the colors that they had. Hey, Shalom.
Morning. Good morning. Okay, so a couple of people asking about the sewing machine. As many of you know, the little brother machine here behind me, stitch back in January. It gave me 11 good years of service, but that's as far as it went. There was no repair again, unfortunately, and I have been on a search for a new machine ever since. My goal was to go to the Mid-Atlantic Quilt Festival yesterday and test drive a bunch of machines and possibly buy a new one. People are asking here in the chat, have I bought a new machine? The answer to that is yes. I have purchased a new machine.
Oh, right. Good deal.
I'm not telling anybody what it is right now. They were out of stock. They ran out of them at the show, which is a good problem for them to have. So they're going to ship it to me. But once it comes in, maybe we'll do maybe we'll do a reveal. We'll do an unboxing. I figure we'll do a little bit talking about what I was looking for, what I ended up buying, why did I pick this one here, like kind of the selection process. And I want to kind of keep it a mystery, kind of keep you all guessing as to which it is. But yeah, I have purchased a machine. I have not seen it yet. But it was on my short list of the ones I wanted to play with yesterday. I'm really, really happy with it. I think it's going to be a wonderful machine. So
can we be nosy and ask how much you spent?
Not a whole lot.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, it was I tried to. Well, I did not want to finance a machine. That was a big thing.
Well, I don't blame you there, especially in this.
I was like,
this economy.
I was like, if I can't pay for it cash, I don't want it. Like, so.
Right now, it's not a good time to be financing anything.
I think it's
Not even over here.
Yeah. I don't know. I figure I did just fine with an $80 machine, for 11 years. And so I don't need super, super fancy. Now, what I got was, it's nice. It has a lot of features I didn't have before. It's good. It's definitely an upgrade. But yeah, I mean, I got a good deal on it. And I actually had them, they like talk them in to give me because I wanted a 1/4 inch foot with a guide on it. That was really, really big to me.
Yep.
And so they gave that to me as well as a special bonus. So yeah, and the price was really, really good. I saved a significant amount of money on the list price. So yeah, I am super, super happy. She's asking what brand. I'm not disclosing that. I want to keep this as a surprise for everybody. So
Uh-oh.
once it comes in, I will maybe we'll do a live, maybe we'll do a premiere. I haven't quite decided yet how I want to do this, but we will tell everybody. Will find out together. So I'm sorry I'm teasing you all. I probably shouldn't do that, but we're gonna have
I
some
was
fun with
wondering
this.
if you would. I was wondering if you'd spill the beans or not.
No, I thought about it. And I'm like, no, let's keep it a surprise. You know,
Guessing.
like
Well,
keep it all
maybe
guessing.
maybe you could do a poll, over on your community tab of your
What?
YouTube, and list 4 potential machines that you were thinking of, and let's see if who can guess which brand. You don't have to be specific, but say, I like Genomes, or you sew with the Bernina, and list four
Yeah,
of them as a poll, with one of them actually being that brand. And let's see. And then when you get ready to do the reveal, you'll have the
I like
poll,
that.
and you can show the poll, and then reveal what you got.
Yeah, because Sherry is Sherry. I'll get it right in a minute. Because can we
See, she
guess? Yeah,
says, "Can we guess?" And
I
see,
know.
they
Yeah,
can comment below also of
I
which one
know.
they get.
I like that idea. I think we'll do that. As I said, once the shipping notification comes out, um, I'll throw that up there for everybody. Yeah, let's have a guessing game. I can tell you, as I said, I don't want to give too much away because
You don't
if
have
I
to
give
give
too
anything away. Just, I mean, the chance
price
of someone
wise,
actually guessing the right machine is like what? If it's 4 to 1?
well, it is on the cheaper end. So I mean, it's well under $1,000. I have a lot of change out of $1,000, thankfully.
So while I was in California, I bought a Genome. I think it's called the Gem, and I think I spent, I want to say, $250 on it, and
Oh,
it's
that's nice.
half the size of this little Genome, or half the size of this big Genome.
Yeah,
But I bought it because I wanted to sew at her house, and I didn't want to buy another singer because I got really unhappy with that singer talent that I have here, and I just didn't want to mess around. And at the time, I didn't know that there was all these antique ones. I could have gone and looked for one, and left it at her house. And I might do that when I'm in Lake City, find an antique one and leave it at Lynn's.
there you go. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yes. But no, I was very happy of with what I got. I'm looking forward to it showing up at my house so I can play with it and that sort of thing.
Charlotte says you're a tease.
I am. I was hoping nobody would bring it up and I wouldn't have to address the issue. I mean, I deliberately left it out of the podcast and said, okay, look, I went to the quilt show. This is what I bought. I actually bought, out of all the things, I went to 3 different stores and bought stuff. Only one of them was in stock. So the sewing machine was out of stock. And then I bought a quilt kit, and that's out of stock, and that's been shipped to me as well. So,
So I have a question for you that has to do
Yeah.
with the Mid-Atlantic and QuiltCon.
uh-huh.
On one of my lives the other day, we were talking about QuiltCon and the Mid-Atlantic and my trip next year, because if nothing else happens that prevents me from coming, because you don't know what's going to happen between,
I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I mean,
well, I have to, I'm have to look at things because a lot of stuff is going on between Denmark, Greenland, and the United States, and you
right.
never know how that's going to affect my ability to travel. And because if things worsen, it may end up I have to just wait, which I'd rather not, because I go every other year and I need to get my driver's license updated while I'm in the States, and my passport, and I need to go to the Social Security office. I have a lot of things I need to take care of this next trip. But anyway, How many hours did it take you to drive from where you are to Raleigh?
About 2.5, 2 hours 45. It wasn't that far.
So, is there affordable places to stay? Wait, so where's the Mid Atlantic versus?
It,
I mean, if you were driving from Raleigh to go to the Mid Atlantic, how many hours of a drive would that be?
it's like 15 more minutes. It's very, very
Okay.
close. Yeah.
So is there affordable places around that area to stay at, and also would it be feasible to be able to just meet us get together if we drove up there, and
Oh,
also
for sure.
within driving distance of Becca as well?
Becca's about 3.5 hours up the road from me.
Okay.
Yeah, she's like northwest of me, so it's a, well, 3.5 hours on a good day. If there's traffic, it could be five. Um, so yeah, potentially, yeah, you could easily go up and see Becca. You could come down to see us. I mean, it's definitely doable. I think it'd be fun for you to see both shows because they're only a week apart.
Yeah, I was going to ask what's the time frame between the two, because I had planned on staying in Raleigh at least a week anyway. Because I want
Yeah,
to explore more of Raleigh. I want to go to the botanical gardens. I want to go to their natural museum and history, or whatever it's called. I want to go there. And I thought, well, if it's just a little ways up the road, why not drive up there and do the Mid Atlantic and have dinner
yeah.
with you guys? Meet somewhere to have dinner with everybody, and then
Oh,
make my
sure.
long trek back to Florida, or back. Well, it'll be Georgia first, and then Florida.
Yeah. No, I think that sounds good. I said you could easily, because I think from Raleigh up to Becca's house, it's like 3.5 hours. You basically just jump on 95 and go straight up towards North Virginia, and then you just come back down and come east over to us. So yeah, I think it's totally doable. You and I can talk about that logistically and that sort of thing there offline later on.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's totally doable. I think, who was it? I think someone did that last year. They went to Raleigh, might have been Laurie, and then came over to Mid Atlantic the following week, or I forget who it was. Mary Dunn brings in a very good question. She says, "Hi, Sean. Just curious, why won't you continue using the machine you're using now?" And that's a good question. I've actually been asked this question quite a bunch, especially by the salespeople at the store. Because I told them, I have a Bonina, blah 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 blah. This machine is 20 years old. I love it dearly. It is a wonderful quilting machine. And what I used to do before the brother died was I used a piece on the brother and I used to quilt on this. And I would like to revert to that. So that way I don't wear this poor thing out because, mechanically, I think it'll last until, the end of time, but you never know when the computer board's going to frizz on you. So I
Yeah.
like the idea of having a backup. I like the idea of having this as quilting only because I have the Sew Steady extension table for this and everything else. So it's wonderful for quilting. It could very easily probably piece, successfully for a long time. But I like the idea of having a machine that I can just use for piecing. And so ultimately, that's why I decided to go that way. Plus, if I send this one to the shop, I have something else I can still sew on. Like, I don't want to sit around for a week waiting for someone to service the machine either, because I would go stir crazy if I was out for a day or two, let alone a week. So,
Yeah, you
but
don't
yeah,
want to be like me with only one machine.
yeah, no, I started off with one when I was very, very first started, and then this machine I got at the price I couldn't say no to. And ever since then, like I was like, I really don't ever want to be with just, well, when this one died, I was like, okay with that one for a while because I figured I'll just take my time and find one I really, really like. But yeah, I like the idea of having a backup machine.
I think that's a
And the
good
new
idea.
one's lighter too, because like this thing is a monster. It's like 26 pounds. And like, even though I sit it right on this table here, because this is my home office as well, it's a monster. Like, I'm going to have a nice bicep by the time I'm finished using this thing every day. From having to pick this monster up and drag it over there. So, but no, excellent question. So the chicks, some salespeople are like, if you have a Bonina, why aren't you just using that? And I'm like, because I want a piecing machine. I want a backup. Oh, okay. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to back up too, and we had to postpone going to Denmark because Nikolai was going to let and I'll probably do it maybe I'll do it this fall. I don't know, but I still, in order for me to go, and I want an M8, and the M8 has, the reason I want the M8 is because they put a stitch regulator on it for free
Well, that's
motion
fun.
quilting, and I could use it just for sitting down and quilting, and use this one for what I'm already using it for.
Yeah.
This one turned 5 in January.
Sorry.
This machine turned 5 in January.
Oh, nice.
I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow, I've had this 5 years. Of course, you have to take 10 months off of that where I didn't use it. The first 10 months I had it, I was scared of it and didn't even touch it. I took it out of the box and it sat on the dining table for 10 months.
Oh, no, as soon as that machine shows up at my doorstep, I'm unboxing that puppy. It's going to go.
Well, you have that big Bernina that you're using. So when I saw the tension knob on here, that freaked me out. Because that little Singer doesn't have that style of a tension thing on it. So it took me like an hour and a half to figure out how to get it around it. Because I was also because I didn't want to break anything,
But it's under warranty. If you break it, you call them up and say, "Hey, it's broken. Send me another one."
Yeah, I know.
It's the best time to break it. And
I'd rather not, though.
although I will tell you now, if you ever talk about warranties, I bought this iron here 7 months ago, back in July, and it just quit on me a week ago, I think it was. This little steam fast iron. Love the iron. It's a beautiful iron. If you ever have to deal with, I don't know if you've ever had to deal with warranties or anything else like that, but these folks are fantastic. This thing died in the middle of a snowstorm on a Wednesday night. I filled out my warranty thing that night. Next morning, they email me and say, "Hey, we need you to cut the cord to prove that it's no longer operational. Send us a photo of the serial number, blah, blah, blah. We'll send you a new iron." Did that Thursday. They shipped it Friday. I had it on my doorstep Monday morning.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm very, very happy with the Steam Fast people. Because I went out and bought a new iron at Walmart on Friday because I was like, I can't wait until another one arrives.
I can't believe how pricey irons are at Walmart.
Oh, this was $13.44.
California, the cheapest one they had in California was $25. And I'm like, why are we paying $25 for an iron?
Yeah, no, this little Steam Fast, the $13 iron that I'm using right now, I love that thing. So
I want a little mini iron to do on the desk here, but I can't seem to find any over here that are small like that.
They don't have the little, I know a lot of people like the Aliso ones.
They don't sell Alisos that I know of. I've looked in Denmark, and as best I can tell, none of the shops sells Alisos.
Okay.
But I'm not going to pay $300 for an iron either.
Right. I thought I'd get an Aliso Mini with this, but then I was like, you know what, these folks replaced that iron so quickly, and I've always been happy with their products, and $13, I can buy 4 of these irons for the price of an Aliso Mini. So I was like, yeah, I'm just going to get one of these.
Somebody was saying that at QuiltCon in Phoenix, they were showing an iron that was $3,000.
Good gravy.
What? $3,000? What the heck for?
Does it come with a person to iron the stuff for you? Because
that's what I was wondering. Or does it have a automated, robot doing the ironing for you? Oh my goodness.
Good gravy. All right. So I saw someone popped in a minute ago. Okay. In Stitches with Jackie, good morning. She says, hello, new to your channel. Welcome, welcome. It's always good to have new folks come join us. Thank you for finding us, and I hope you enjoy your time here with us. Yeah, people are saying that the Beninas are heavy. They definitely are. I mean, they're a good, wonderful, solid machine. And if you can keep it in one place, it's great. But because I have to move it around because, my cutting table's here, my home office is here, that sort of thing there. Yeah, I thought a lighter machine was good because the Bravo I could pick up with like my pinky usually and just drag it around. So it was like 12 pounds. I forget how heavy the new machine is, but I don't think it was super. Actually, I don't have no idea.
This Johnny's heavy like your Bernina.
No, if I pick the machine up, it could be a heavy monster too. Oh well, too late. It's done now, so we'll just have to go with it. I don't think it's super heavy. Actually, no, it's supposed to be. I think they designed it for transporting around, so I don't think it's going to be super super heavy. Anyway, we'll find it out when it comes in, right?
Yep. I can't remember if it was Janice of The Right Way or if it was Shonda of Under the Needle, but one of them had a 6700P like I got, and they
Yeah.
were transporting it back and forth between a retreat. And when she went to get it out of the back of her car, she accidentally dropped it and broke it.
Whoops.
And these machines are not cheap to replace.
No, not at all.
And it broke her heart because, that was her, what you call the main invested machine,
Oh yeah.
It was just a freak accident that happened.
Yeah.
But it's heavy, and I couldn't imagine dragging this back and forth between, even if I wanted to go down to the community center, I don't think I would want to drag this down there without risk, because I would feel it would be too risky of a chance of something happening to it,
Yeah, I mean, I've taken this machine, I've taken it places and sewn on it, when my wife was doing, helping with the drama productions and stuff at the schools we taught at, he would, I would help out, making curtains, which I don't like doing, and other things there like that. And sometimes it was just more practical to take the banana with me than the brother because, it could sew through more layers and it was a heavier duty machine. But yeah, I was always absolutely scared to death that, I'd do the same thing, pick it up out of the car and it would drop and smash all over the ground and that sort of thing there as well. So I definitely get that it could be an issue. Okay, so in Stitches of Jackie says, I have 3 machines, but looking to get a 4th. I would love to get a Juki. I wanted to, okay, so this clue will, this will be a clue. I did not get a Juki. I was interested in the Jukis, but they did not have any there at the show for me to look at this year, which was interesting because they were there last year. So it was not a Juki, but I would not be opposed to getting one of those at some point in the future as well. So,
if you buy one, you need to wear earplugs with it because I think it'll ruin your hearing.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't want
so
that.
Loud.
Oh, that was one of the nice things. Yeah, the new one is quiet. It's very, very quiet, which I thought was definitely a selling feature for me. I figured if I'm going to be, doing lives and that sort of thing now, something that was quiet was definitely, and it wasn't a necessity for me, but it was definitely a nice bonus.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the one clue you're getting. It's not a Juki because it wasn't there. Sheila says she opened up the fat quarters you gave me last night, and they're so pretty. I'm so glad you're happy with them. I love the ones that you gave me because we were part of a block swap or a fat quarter slot. Fat quarter swap. I'll get it right here in a minute. So there we go. But yeah, we'll show you more in the next week or so. Once it shows up, we'll do a nice little video and show you all what I got, why I picked it. What I like about it, maybe what I hate about it, because I'll probably find something about it eventually, with something small.
Did you see my Blizzard video from yesterday?
I haven't. I saw the yesterday was a blur for me because I had my live. I went to the quilt show. The girls had a friend over, so we were chatting with them. And that sort of thing there. I mean, I didn't get to bed till after midnight, and then I was up again at 6 o'clock this morning recording podcasts. So yeah, I haven't had time to stop and say hi or do anything in the last day or so. But yeah, I do plan on seeing that today.
Hey Sherry, you can check because that's who I bought mine from. Nikolai was supposed to have left yesterday. You want to come say hi, honey? He never left. Yeah, he's still here, and I'm super happy about that.
I was going to say, I can't imagine you'd be too disappointed about that.
No, I'm not disappointed at all, and neither is the dog because she saw Nikolai pack the suitcase, so she's been totally I don't want. He went to the store. Was it day before yesterday? Because she's already been able to sense that something was about to happen. It's weird how dogs know, but when he walked out the door, he just went up to the road to the smaller store, and she was sitting at the door whimpering. So I'm like, oh gosh, she's going to have a meltdown when he actually does leave, But
Oh yeah. Want some boom booms?
You found some boom booms?
Boom booms.
All right. So
Yes,
anyway, he's
three.
here at least until tomorrow. So
What?
Boom
Good.
booms.
thank you, honey.
Yes, you mentioned so yeah. I mean, they're definitely a good option for sewing machines. They've got some really good pricing. I was actually chatting with them about different options as well, and that sort of thing there. So yeah, if you need a good dealer
The
that
shipping,
sells several, they sell several different brands. I mean, I
yeah,
would
they
highly
do.
recommend them. I did not end up buying from them only because the pricing that they gave me at the show yesterday
That was
couldn't
as
be
big as you could
could
get.
not be matched. So, but yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend Sew Gear as a definite option. They don't have a lot of the sewing machines on their website, unfortunately. That's something they are working on. But if you are interested, just email them and say, "Hey, look, I'm interested," and their customer service people will get back to you very, very quickly, and be able to give you pricing and that sort of thing there as well. So that is definitely an option there for you if you need someone. So
Sheila, he'll be gone 2 months. Right back. Yeah. You don't have, you said you got your tickets to return home, right?
Yeah.
What was the date for the return home?
April the 25th.
So it's not going to be quite 2 months then, is it?
Oh.
Normally it's about 2 months, but the last couple of times he was supposed to be home for 2 months and he's not home for 2 months. They I don't know what they're doing, but they keep changing things. And I made a mistake on this block. Darn it.
I'm trying
Anyway,
very hard not to do that.
yeah, you explained why these were too long. Now I got to go cut 2 more new pieces, but that's okay. That's because I wasn't paying attention. But yeah, he'll be gone just a hair under 2 months. And when he comes back, I got a couple of things that I want to get accomplished when he's home this next go around. If the snow is melted off the ground anyway.
Yeah, hopefully it will be. Holly says
Yeah.
when they bought her new Benina, was told a story of a machine falling out of the back of a truck. It bounced and the arcade scratched and banged up, but plugged it in and sewed perfect. Oh, that's nice. Those things are built like tanks.
Yeah, this Janome I have is solid metal, but I guess she was somewhere where it hit asphalt or something.
Yeah. And if it's computerized too, it could just be a matter of, the computer board was damaged, So, good morning, Miss Andrea. How are you this morning? It's good to see everybody. If I miss saying hi to you, say hi again, because I try to say hi to everyone, but I do miss folks from time to time. And it's not deliberate. There's a lot of moving parts in the life. I'm chatting to Katy. I'm trying to sew, make sure I don't goof up, read the chat. And men are only supposed to be able to do one thing at once. So I think I'm doing all right. Doing a couple
Katie's
things
got
at
the
once.
seam ripper out right now.
Well, I started off with the seam ripper because, if you remember the last time you and I did this project together, I put black instead of the color on 7 of these blocks that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's
so
right. You did. I forgot about that.
I was like,
You're
I don't want to
right.
mess with this. Like, you and I said that we want to do this slowly. I was like, you know what? I'll just leave it. I'll just rip it out when we start our next live and continue on our merry way. So
I've been looking at that star, and I watched Kimberly on her she sewed the star on her live this past Friday, and I'm like, the way she shows you, it's like, yeah, I'm not wasting fabric the way she was wasting it because money's tight, but she just makes it look so easy though.
Yeah.
As far as the paper piecing part of it.
Well, I think once you get used to it, like, you see some people, like, if you're super familiar with it, you can zip it out super quick. Like, you look at, people like Donna at Handmade by Ying, she's excellent at FPP. Like, she just whips through those things like it's butter, which is, something I'd like to aspire to at some point, whereas it takes me, 8 forevers to do 3 pieces. What I did this little block last night, that took me like an hour to do 4 pieces.
Oh, wow.
But,
well,
I double-check,
I'm slow too about stuff like that, so I get that, John.
Yeah, but I double-check, triple-check, that sort of thing there, because I do not want to have to pull that jack, because once you start tearing that paper, it's an absolute mess. And
yep, I agree with you.
So I'd rather take my time. That's definitely slow down thing, and it's going to be just fine and dandy. All right. Good morning, Miss Linda from Irish Sail 81. It's good to see you. Good morning to Miss Mona. Good morning, Miss Lisa. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you have a channel, please put your channel link in. And anytime that you want, you're always encouraged to do so. I forget to put everything. Now we have so many people join me each week. I can't remember to do everybody. But yeah, feel free to throw it in there really. As needed. There we go. I'll get it right there in a minute. Sheila says she's great. She talked to the banana place at the show. I'm going to take my machine there to be serviced versus the shop closer. Are you talking about the one that's on? That was the one at Chesapeake, I think, right? Because there's one near the Sunshine Corner one is the one near you, and then there's I think it's called a Different Touch, and their servicing department's great. It's apparently like the gentleman that does it, they're closed on like Wednesdays and Sundays, and that's the days that he goes in and services the machines because he wants people to get them back quickly, is what they told me when I talked to him a few months ago when I was in their store. And I was like, okay, well, once I get the new machine set up, I think this one needs to go and get serviced because I'm not going to tell you the last time that got done because I'm embarrassed. But yeah, I figure I'll probably go take it there because it's actually not far from where I work, so I can drop it off one day, leave it there a couple of, maybe drop it off on a Tuesday and then go pick it up Thursday. I could potentially be without it for 2 days, which I think is unheard of in this industry. So that would be good. All right. How do I do the link? Okay, so the link for the pattern itself, I'm just going to throw in for you real quick. I'm assuming that's the question you have. I'm running off like 4 hours of sleep, so bear with me if I'm
Okay. Let's get you back over
Yeah,
here.
Sunshine told me the clunky sounds because it's old. I know it's not right. Yeah, if definitely good to get a second opinion. That's so I have not taken the machine to the other store, to Different Touch, to get it serviced. But from what they were telling me, the guy seems to really want to do right by his customers. So that's where I plan on taking mine because both stores are about the same distance from me. And I like the idea of only having it going for a couple of days. I think that's a big selling feature. So there we go. Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I'm glad I answered the question. I thought it was in the description as well, the video, but I'll check that later on just to be sure as well. I try to put it in there so that way if you watch the replay or you come back later on and go, hey, what's the link for the pattern? It should be there for you as well.
Hi, Linda, and hello, Jackie, and hello, Lisa. And I don't know if anyone else walked in here or not.
Yeah.
And Deb S is here too. Hello, y'all.
Yes, I saw Deb S. Yeah. Sometimes I see people and I say hi to them mentally, and then I forget to say something on the live. So that's why I always tell people, hey, if I forget, it's not that I didn't notice you. Half the time it's I've done it mentally because my guest, we're talking to my guest is telling a story or something like that, and I don't want to butt in, and then, ADD brains, I move on to something else. So, there you go. Sheila says, yes, they told me the same thing about that guy. Yeah, he sounds like a really, really neat dude. So, yeah, I think that's where I'm going to, for me, logistically, it's easier for me to take it to that store. And I like the idea of that. So there we go. LOL mental high. Yeah, I do that all the time. So there you go. Good morning, Miss Brenda. It is good to see you as well.
Hi, Brenda.
She's a fun lady. I got the pleasure of having lunch with her and her husband last year in Louisville. So that was a lot of fun. So
John, what did you think about this year's Mid-Atlantic? I mean, did you see something interesting that really caught your eyeballs?
The Best in Show was amazing. Absolutely amazing. I've never seen anything like this. This thing looks like it's like a trying to think, how would I explain this? If you played video games back in the 90s or the early 2000s, you knew the Final Fantasy series. It looks like a picture from that. But really? I figure most people that it's more like a fantasy thing. It looks like an island with dragons and all this sort of stuff there. And it looks like a picture, but it actually looks like it's been like raw age applique or something like that. is
Oh,
absolutely
cool.
phenomenal. The quilting on it's phenomenal. I put a picture of it in the podcast today, and I will do a more in-depth video about what I liked about it and everything else very, very soon. There was a lot more, and this is something that Sheila told me yesterday morning during my live before I went up there, and she was so right about this. There was a lot more modern quilter the show this year than in years past. But they do have a nice variety. They had so many beautiful quilts there that I really, really enjoyed. I will do a more in-depth video about what the ones like I've got a slideshow. I did a real quick thing during the week in review this morning. But yeah, it was a good show. I like this show. Like, I love QuiltCon for the community. Like that, if you want to go hang out with all your quilty friends and all the quilty content creators and the celebrities and everything else, QuiltCon is the place to go for sure, no question at all. It's all modern quilts, and if that's not your thing, you may not like the quilts as much. And I'm not a super big modern quilt person, but I love the community, and I will definitely go to Raleigh next year. I had FOMO last week when there was no, when I didn't go to things, but that wasn't logistically possible anyway. But yeah, the Mid-Atlantic
so inspiring. I mean, you've heard me talk about I want to make 100-color quilt. And after being at QuiltCon for the first time last year, I saw a quilt in the maximalist section, and every spot on that quilt was color. I mean, it was in your face. And I'm like, when I saw that, I'm like, yes, I can do this. I can do this. I
know. It always gives you, like, it doesn't matter what quilt show you go to. It always gives you so much inspiration because you can see what has been done, what can be done. Can you do it as well? Can you do it as quickly? Can you do it even close as good as someone else? Probably not, but that's okay. It gives you inspiration. And I was like, I told a few people yesterday, I was like, it's nice to be able to see what can be done.
Yeah.
And it gives you ideas and that sort of thing there. But the thing about the Mid-Atlantic show that I like the most is it has a variety of just about every quilt type you can think of. It has art quilts. It has modern, traditional. It has a lot of, like, I think you would have appreciated it had a lot of the African quilts and Native American quilts and that sort of thing. Yeah, each year they have different displays. Like some of they have displays from a lot of the quilt guilds from around Virginia, like some of the ones from up north of Virginia, Western Virginia, North Carolina. Sometimes they bring them down from Maryland. They do different challenges, and it's a nice variety. Like if you want to go see a whole bunch of different quilts in one place, this is a wonderful place to go see it. And then I think they do very similar shows. I think there's one in Lancaster in May, April, something like that. And then I forget where else they go, but there's a couple of places they go. So, and then I'm also very interested to see what Road to Virginia does in June, like what they do. I know very little about it besides the fact that they come into Richmond in June, which I'm super excited about. There you go. But the one thing I did like a lot about this show is one of the vendors that I bought a bunch of stuff from. You may have noticed I have a new T-shirt today. It says, "I am not messy. I am creatively organized." And I found some more shirts. It's hard for me as a gentleman to find a lot of quilt T-shirts that aren't like super girly or super flowery. And there's a nice couple that sell a bunch of shirts. And I probably could have spent a couple $100 more there. But I behaved and only bought 4. But then I was also talking to them, and they're coming down again in June to Richmond. So I was like, I could save some pennies and buy more shirts in June as well. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right. What was I doing?
You're working on those blocks.
Working on my blocks, Java drawing. I get easily distracted if you all haven't figured that out already. So
Andrea says she has. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Andrea says she's found that modern quilts are very popular, so she is adapting her designs to that. And then Sheila said there was a good variety of quilts at the show. I might go back today to look a bit more. Oh, so it's still going on?
Yeah, it's a 4-day show. It starts on Thursday and ends on Sunday. So.
Oh, okay.
I usually go up on Saturday because that's just the easiest day for me. I would have liked to have gone on like Thursday or Friday, but work was just, Oh goodness, it was a very intense, busy week for me. So taking a day off or half a day off this week probably wouldn't have been the smartest idea, so I didn't. So,
When you went to New York with the girls, it was
yes,
the girls, right? Did you
yes,
guys drive up there or did you fly up there?
we drove.
How many hours did it take you to drive from Virginia to there?
Well, we stopped a couple of times. Like we stopped and had a sit
Well,
down breakfast.
that's fine.
We
With the
left.
stopovers, how long did it take you to go?
Well, we went up to basically Poughkeepsie, which is 2 hours north of New York
Yep,
City.
I know where that's at. I've
Okay,
been
it
there.
took us 10 hours.
Did y'all spend the night up there then?
Yeah, we spent 3 nights up there
Okay.
because we went to the not the quilt festival, the yarn festival. So yeah, we left the house at 4 o'clock in the morning, and got there at 2 in the afternoon. And so yeah, 10 hours for that trip I thought was pretty darn good. Because yeah, we stopped and got breakfast at at Bob Evans, which is a place we love. And then we found a Tim Hortons, which is a coffee shop we love, on the way up. And yeah, I mean, we hit a little bit of traffic here and there, but we avoided most of it. We actually got through DC traffic during rush hour without too much hassle, which was quite interesting.
I've never been to DC.
I've been there more times than I can count. I mean, yeah, it's like 3 hours up the road.
I think the only thing I really would care to see up there would be, I heard that they have a big botanical garden there. I'd like to see that, and maybe see the Lincoln Memorial, but
Oh,
I
that's
don't know.
pretty.
Yeah, I don't think I care to see anything else, but I don't know. There might be other things. Oh, and the big, huge, what is that? Is it the Smithsonian or is it the Natural Museum of Arts and something? I can't remember which it's
Oh, they
called.
have some beautiful. Yeah, there's a lot of Smithsonian museums up there. And I've only taken a quick glance at the art museums because I just haven't had a chance to go through them yet. But because I ducked into one of the art museums to go to the restroom, and I was like, "Oh, this place is amazing!" Like, yeah, I would like to go back up there and see the art museums. I've been to the natural history, the American history, the space, air and space one, although the one out there by Dulles.
Oh, a space one? Oh my gosh! Now that would be fun too.
They have 2 of those museums. The original one is downtown DC. It's not far from the Capitol building, but they have built a new one. Well, it's newish. It's been out there for 15 years now, out by Dulles Airport. That thing is phenomenal. That is well worth seeing. I've been to it twice now. We took Simon there last year it was something you wanted to see, and he flew out of Dulles. And so on the day, his flight wasn't until 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we drove there that morning. We spent a couple of hours looking around. They have a space shuttle. There's a Concorde.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Admission is free. You just pay out there. It's like $15 to park. But that's per car. So like, you take a carload of 4 people. It's what, $3.75 each. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So, okay, Sheila, she's saying that she's trying to post a thing for the Mid-Atlantic. She can't because you're not a moderator, but I will take care of that. Hang on.
I gotta make sure I get this over this like I'm supposed to. Yep. I've been trying to figure out how we were going to do our trip because we intend on. I'm hoping that I can cover, depending on when he flies in, because I think he'll probably fly in the first week in March.
Yeah.
And so, besides Raleigh and the possibility of doing the Mid-Atlantic, I want to make a trip. I kind of wanted to see if I couldn't fly him in, because we'll be flying through to Newark. So that means he'll be doing that same flight. And then I thought I would have him take the flight from Newark to Miami, and I'd meet him in Miami. And then we would do there's one especially huge one. There's a really huge botanical garden there. And then I thought Myra, our friends that live on the west coast of Florida, we've already been talking about it and them meeting up with us and us going to the Florida Keys. Because I lived all of my life in Florida and never saw it. And I think it'd be fun for Nikolai because there is a Navy base there, which I wasn't aware of until Myra told me that. and they have a big camper or a RV, and it's potential that they could drive that, and me and Nikolai stay on because both of them are her husband's retired from the Navy, and they have so they have access to the Navy hotel and everything there, which is extremely cheap to stay at.
Right.
And it may turn out that we can just stay at that, and we do that, and then see a little bit of the Florida Keys, and then truck back up to North Florida, spend a few days there, then go to Georgia, then go to see my grandson and son, and spend a few days there, and then go from Georgia to Charleston, South Carolina, to see my birth town, along with the Navy base, because I was born on the Navy base there, and then go from there to Syracuse, New York, and then from Syracuse to the Niagara Falls with my friends from Syracuse, and then come back down and either probably take a train from Syracuse to Chicago, and then hop on the Zephyr train, which will take us from Chicago to San Francisco. And that's a 2.5-day trip on the train, which is really cool. There's a lot of videos about the Zephyr train and what it's like.
Well,
and then we drive and then drive from San Francisco to Hanford to spend time with my other daughter and her my two grands there, and then fly home from there to Newark back to Nuke.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, it sounds like a good trip. Good morning to Miss Becky. She says, good morning. I've been lurking while eating breakfast. It's good to see you. And Brenda says her brother was Navy. We toured DC when she was 12. Smithsonian was my favorite. Enjoyed lunch there and there in the cafeteria. And talk about the Navy base too. If you're in the
the Navy base there. There's a Navy base in DC, but I know there's one in Virginia because my sister was married. Her husband was in the Navy. He was I forget, some kind of engineer, nuclear engineer. That's what he was. And so they lived there for a while.
Yeah. Oh, it's enormous. And that actually, and if it's something you're interested in, they have like a boat tour that leaves out of downtown Norfolk that goes up by the Navy base, and you can see the aircraft carriers and the submarines and the battleships. And
I didn't know that.
Oh, it's a great little trip. It's like a 2-hour trip, and we took Simon on it last year. It's like $25 or something. It's not super expensive.
Okay. Nikolai would enjoy the heck out of that.
That's what I was thinking. Like, they have a bus tour. It takes you onto the Navy base itself. I'm not sure how much you'd see on that. I mean, I have not done that, but the Navy thing is really nice because you get to go. It's a nice ride through the harbor. It's a 2-deck boat. The lower levels interior. So if it's cold outside, and then the outdoors is the second level's like open air. It's a nice little thing. Yeah, I figured Nikolai would probably enjoy that, and it's a nice little tour.
Because we took him when we were in San Diego. We went to the USS. I think that was the USS Midway aircraft carrier. That wasn't an aircraft carrier. That was. Oh yes, it was. It was the USS Midway, which is now a museum. You should have seen him. He was in heaven because there was helicopters out on the flight deck. When you went inside, him and Derek got on the flight simulator. Right. I wasn't getting on there because I figured I would throw up, so I didn't get on it.
I got sick a lot, so I want one of those.
Yeah, well, it's not this motion that makes me sick. It's the sideways motion that makes me sick. So I figured I better just not get on there. And we did the whole aircraft carrier, and it was quite enjoyable. And he loved it.
Well, while you're here, then you'll need to go on that little Navy, and then around the corner from where you board that boat is a place called Nauticus, and it actually has the USS Wisconsin, which was one of the larger battleships that was decommissioned about 25 years ago. And you can actually, as part of your regular ticket, you can actually go down a deck or two into the interior.
Really? Wow.
Yes, you get to go see the mess hall, the regular mess hall, the chow hall, or whatever you want to call it, the officers hall, where the guys and girls. I'm assuming they had girl sailors back then. I'm really not sure. That's what it's really neat. If you go back and look at some of my videos, like
I'll have to
I've
go
shown
check
some of
that
this.
out.
If you look at the one, like probably the most recent one I would have showcased it on is when I did because I do Christmas lights on that every year as well.
Okay.
You'll get to see a little bit of footage on that, and then I took Simon there about May of last year, I think it was. So,
Okay.
yeah, but that's a lot of fun. So if he likes military stuff, this area here, like the Norfolk, Virginia Beach area, you cannot go wrong. I mean, there's a aviation museum down at Virginia Beach, which I have not been to. Yeah, the Navy base tour is fantastic. Nauticus is great to go see at least once. Yeah, if you want to do the military stuff, you could definitely do a couple of days here quite happily.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan because he really loves stuff like that.
That's how Simon was.
When we did the Midway, we also went to Balboa Park.
Okay.
I think that was at Balboa Park in San Diego, and they have a what did you call that? Aircraft. It's not space and aircraft museum type thing. And
Air and Space Museum, yeah.
Yeah, and that was my second time going to that one because back in 2001, I took the kids to San Diego. We spent a week there, and my friend Blue took us to Balboa Park, and we had already been there one time before, and Kristen remembered going, and because I took them when I think Kristen might have been 11 when I took all three of them, and so she remembered.
Right. Yeah, and Sheila's also bringing up too that there's an Air and Space Museum in Hampton too, which is not far from where the conventions. Yeah, and that's a nice museum too. I took the boys. I've been there a few times. I took the boys there last year. The girls aren't real interested, but the boys are. There's a Mariners Museum up in Newport News as well. It's really, really fun for historical marine stuff as well. So I had American Revolution Museum in Yorktown as well. Yeah. If you wanted to spend a week in this area looking at historical stuff and military, Sheila and I can put together an itinerary quite happily.
Okay. All right. That would be great. Because I was thinking part of this trip will be road. Of course, I'll be the only darn driver, which is going to suck. But I figured part of it we would just road trip it, or either take a train, one of the two, and rent a car when we get to our whatever the next destination is going to be. Because I want to avoid flying, except when I actually have to,
Right. Yeah.
And since I have this, I don't know what it is, but I did a train trip from Windsor. Well, actually, I think we ended up going to San Francisco. So it went from San Francisco to, the name of the town where the Navy Air Base is at, which is a little bit west, I think. It's in California. It was in California. My daughter now currently lives in Hanford, but the place where the Navy Air Base is at is just like 30 miles up the road. And I can't think of the name of it right this minute, darn it. But I took a train from San Francisco to there, so the train trip was about 3 hours, I think, 3 or 4, I think. And I really enjoyed it because you get to sit, and they have these big, huge windows on these trains, and the train wasn't crowded at all. And so I got to see parts of California that, driving, I would have, because when you're driving, you kind of look at what you're looking at, but you have to pay attention to everything else going on around you. So you miss things that you wouldn't, normally, unless you're a passenger.
Right. Yeah, no, that's true. Like I took the train for the first time, like Amtrak for the first time last year. We went from Poughkeepsie down to the city for the day, and that was a lot of fun because I was like, okay, I could spend an hour and a half driving down there, trying to find a parking spot and all that sort of mess, and then still have to catch a train to the city, or I can just hop on the Amtrak here and just kick back and relax. And so I went to choice number 2, and it was so nice being able to do that.
So Sheila also says there's an American Revolution Museum in Yorktown, and
Yep.
you will pass by Gettysburg driving from there to Syracuse. Yeah, the Navy Air Base I'm talking about is just outside of Hanford, and that the name is sitting on the tip of my tongue. Darn it!
It'll come up as soon as we finish.
Probably, but it's a nice air base.
Get wings on the way to Niagara Falls. That's an idea too.
Yep, I want to see Niagara Falls on the Canada side.
Oh, it's stunning from the Canadian side.
Yeah, so that's planned to do that on that side.
Yeah, so much fun on the Canadian side. We spent like 2 days, I think it was, over there. And I don't know if they do it during the wintertime, but during the summer at least, at nighttime they light it up they light it up with different colors, and that's really, really neat to see.
I think it would be cool to see it in the wintertime, but we're not. I don't know if it'll be frozen still in March or not.
I doubt it. I mean, so much water goes over that thing every second. I don't think if it freezes, it's not very much, I'm sure.
Well, it doesn't totally freeze over, but it does get ice on it, and and I've seen pictures with the ice on it, and it's pretty darn amazing. Yeah.
No, that was something I was really glad I got to see at least once in my life. So.
Yep.
So we've done this. All right, well, I'm almost finished with these blocks, which is nice. It's only taken me two lives, but that's okay. Yes, Sheila says her best friend used to live in the Syracuse area. I've made that trip several times. Yeah, I haven't made it to Syracuse yet.
My friends that I talk, you hear me mention a lot, Melanie and Michael.
Yeah.
Michael is of Italian descent, so I think he was a baby when his parents migrated to the United States, and so he was born in Italy, and so most of their life was in Brooklyn, and when you talk to Michael, you can hear not only the Italian accent, but you can hear the Brooklyn accent.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it is, and I think I went up there twice and spent a week each time I went, and
right.
So what I did while I was there is I went to the New York Botanical Garden. I spent 3 days in that place. I took 27 rolls of film in there.
Oh, that's intense.
And, yeah, so I have 27 packages of 30 photos per pack that I had developed from the botanical garden there. And then I went to the Brooklyn Botanical Garden and did that, and have lots of pictures of that too. So when I go to the United States this next go around, I'm going to get all of my pictures out of storage so I can bring them home with me and start putting them into photo books.
Yeah.
And then awesome. I also have photos I need to divide up between the 3 kids and make photo books for them of those and give them to them the next time I go back to the States. I should have it ready to go. And because it's time to give my kids their stuff.
Right.
I hadn't wanted to give Thomas his stuff because he wasn't anywhere stabilized, but it looks like things are staying stable now. And for those of you that's been keeping up with Thomas and Blaze, he's paying his first month's of rent Monday out of his pay from his job. They set him up to start paying rent on the little place he's living in. And the price is not too terribly bad. I mean, $500 is a lot of money to me, but it could be way worse,
I think you're lucky you'll rent a room in this area for that money. So
yeah, and awesome. And he doesn't have to. And this includes the electric and water, so there's no separate bill for either of those.
That's amazing.
So it's a pretty good deal, and the job he's working at so far, everything's going really well. So I think he's going to be having an evaluation, I think, at the end of this month. And hopefully they'll give him a pay raise during that time frame. Because right now they're paying him $12 an hour. So he's doing really good. $12 an hour is not a living wage, but it's
But
more than
somewhere.
some other places that only make $7 an hour. Like Florida's
Right.
minimum wage is $7.50, I think, unless they
okay.
changed it. Look, you guys, what do you think about these colors?
I think they look great. I'm
Now all
almost
I
done
gotta
with
do
one.
is press it and trim it.
There you go.
Katy, the Smithsonian has an amazing orchid collection. Ooh, I'm
Yeah, I
definitely
think that's.
going to be up for that.
Yeah, I think that's the one. That's the like the greenhouse thing. It's up there by the Capitol building. If it's the one I'm thinking of. Another place
Yeah.
you can go to if you like botanical gardens or public gardens. And it's a little bit of a hike, but it's actually closer to you than it is to me. Is in Halifax in Nova Scotia in Canada. Their public gardens are absolutely amazing.
Yeah, but I would have to fly there for that.
I know. I was just saying, like, if you ever end up in that neighborhood, the public gardens are absolutely amazing there. I would love to get back there at some point and take another look at that.
Sheila, my son, most everybody knows, but maybe you don't know. My son and grandson were homeless for 10 months. And during that time frame, he was working with the state of Georgia, where in the town he's at, and he has like 4 social workers now, and all of them have been really stepping up to the plate to help get them into a transitional housing. And so the housing he's in is through the Georgia Housing Authority, and it's a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath, tiny. It's like a tiny home pretty much. And what it is
Right.
it was a house divided in half. And so I think the square footage is like 800 square feet, something like that. But so he's been there. Sean, he moved in there what, November or December? Do you remember?
I think it's been longer than that.
Or maybe it's been longer than that. Because he started working in yeah, something like 6 months probably. And I know he started working. He got one paycheck in December because that's what they hired him between Christmas and New Year's. That's when he started working. And so
Right.
they allowed him to work 2 months before they did the first income evaluation. And they're basing it on his income. So
Right.
this rent is based on that income because he has a son and everything else.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Thought that there for him.
so 500 is nothing to complain about, in my opinion.
Oh, that's just, yeah, for sure.
I mean,
All
I
right.
think I still think it's expensive for such a tiny place, but I'm not going to complain about it because it's definitely a blessing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can tell you, like, especially like where I live, there is like, if you could get a room, like, rent a room from someone for under $700, you'd be doing extremely well. So, the fact that he's able to do it for that price, I think, is amazing, and it's nice that
Yeah,
that
and
option's
he
out there for him.
when we talked the other, because I was waiting on him to tell me, because he said he was having the meeting, because they were
Yeah.
having a meeting to discuss, you know, what he would have to pay and stuff. And he was very upbeat. He didn't seem upset that it was 500. And I've been helping him manage his money, and you know, making sure that everything's getting paid on, because he has to pay car insurance. His car insurance is so expensive for a 37-year-old man. I just can't. He's been driving since he was 17, I think. He has never ever even had a speeding ticket or a parking ticket or any kind of ticket, and or no accidents. No, I mean nothing. He's got a totally clean driving record, but his insurance is $700, $780 a month.
Gravy.
It's crazy how expensive it is.
It's
So
better
I've
to see
been
news
making
everywhere.
sure. Yeah, and so for a while there, it was me and Nikolai paying it because you can't be driving without insurance because they take your license and everything else away. And when you're homeless, you don't need that happening.
No,
And
for sure.
yeah, so he's paying all his. He's now we've totally transitioned him over to where he's paying for his insurance and he's paying for his telephone bill and internet,
Nice.
the whole thing. He's doing all of this on his own now, and I'm just super pleased with how things are going. And Blaze, he has like he has three teachers, but two of the teachers are additional for helping catching him up on reading. And
Right.
by the end of this term, he will be on a fourth grade level reading. And I am so tickled about that because he's finally catching up and things are falling into place. And yes, Sheila, it's a huge relief because now I'm not stressing so much about, I still worry about them, of course, but
You're going to.
I'm going to until I see, things stay stabilized for at least a year or longer, Okay, this is it all trimmed up now.
Oh, very nice.
Do you guys like the colors?
I do. I really do. I think it's nice.
I didn't know that, Polly.
Yes, it is
Why
very
would they
much.
check my credit score? What's that got to do with anything?
Okay, so the reason the credit score is if you have a low credit score, they consider you more likely to crash your card deliberately to potentially get a cash out so you can pay a bill or something.
Are you serious?
Uh-huh.
That is just.
I know. But, nothing we can do about it.
I feel like insurance companies are greedy enough as it is.
Yeah, we won't get into that. There's a time and place for that. But
No, I know.
I don't
Boy, I can
disagree
get on a
with you.
rant about that big time because normal in Florida, when a man hits 32, I think it is, the cost of insurance, well, back then anyway, I don't know what it's like now, but back then the cost of insurance dropped drastically. Because I remember my insurance when I was driving versus my husband driving, his insurance was on the vehicle he would drive. The car insurance that he was driving was more expensive than mine, and I was 4 years younger than him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's different. There's so many factors on it. But,
For some reason, men get penalized and have higher insurance.
well, I think statistically, they have more accidents. They tend to drive faster, more recklessly, get into more accidents, and that sort of thing there. So,
Yeah, apparently.
Right.
If
So
they
you
only
finished
knew what kind of trouble I was in as a teenager when I had my GTO, all I did was speed in that car.
Yeah.
I stayed in trouble all the time over that car.
I'm a good boy, so
I was having too much. I loved that car. And, it was fun. Anytime, especially if I could get out of the house and go just have fun, But I wasn't reckless. I just drove too fast and got caught
right.
squealing tires one too many times. And, so every cop in Columbia County knew that cherry red GTO who it was. It was me.
Yep. All right. Well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap things up because
Are you going to show your blocks?
They're not quite done yet. So I've got this one done, and this will give you an idea of what.
Oh, look at the colors. They're pretty.
Yeah. So what I've done is so far, like I'm working on 2 of each of these colors, and then like the next one I'll have the yellow at the top and so forth. And so it'll be a little bit different.
That's gorgeous. That black really sets it off.
Yeah, I love using a dark background. That is definitely.
I kind of wish I used black, but it's too late to change to that now.
You can do a little bit of each. Okay. Linda is asking about the pattern and where are the FPP papers. Now, if you look at the.
I was going to say, I don't know if I can share links in here or not.
No, she's asking where you can buy them.
Yeah, from Fat Quarter Shop. But I can't share the link, I don't think, because I'm not a moderator.
I think you are. I'm working on it.
Am I? Because I'll go fetch it for you.
I'm working on it too. Hang on.
But there's 2 sizes. You have a choice of either doing the 4-inch, which makes a smaller like wall hanging or what she called a table topper, or the small, what did she call that one again? It was a small throw or something like that. But if you want to make it bigger, you just need to buy more papers. That's all.
Where is it? Okay. So that's the link for the star. There's a star block and then this courthouse block.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
just
called
did the
Star Climber.
Yeah. If you go to
Is
Backwater Shop and put in Star Climber, it'll give you the different
Yes.
options.
Can you
Well,
share the link for the Star Climber for them?
yeah,
Because
I had
that's on
that
Backwater
second.
Shop's webpage too. Just put Star Climber in the search button.
I know. I already had the link here. That part I have. Okay, so that's the pattern right there. So that's good. And then the 6-inch. Actually, it looks like everything's in stock right now for the stars, which is nice.
Yeah,
'Cause it wasn't last.
she made a comment on the live Friday that everything had been replenished, and I
Yeah.
didn't figure that it would get wiped out this go around, since it got wiped out the last go around, because she talked about it on the live, and I've noticed that whenever it's something new, it immediately disappears within 24 hours because
Right.
they sell it fast. And I had set myself up to get an email telling me when they were back in stock, and they've been staying in stock this go around, so
Yeah,
that's a good
which is
thing.
nice. That's the star. That's the star. Let me just grab this one real quick, and then we should be in good shape.
Okay, so we should talk about the next month.
Yes. Okay. Next month.
You want me to do it, or you want to do it?
We're going to get back over to your channel, is what my thing was.
Yep, y'all are going to come over to me for next month. And if Sean's able to start at least doing one star, then we'll start the star next month. But if not, then we'll continue on with this, because there's a lot of these you got to make anyway. So based on which size you're going to make, so it'll be I'll tell you what it'll be. Hang on.
6th of April is what I'm seeing. The first Sunday, I think.
Yeah, I think the first Sunday of April is
6th.
I want to make sure.
Well, that's what the calendar I'm looking at says.
Yeah, I wrote down. I have this calendar too. I just don't have it on my. Yeah, it's the 6th, and it'll be at the same time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yep. Okay, Joyce is asking what size of the blocks. There's two different options. There's a 4-inch block, which is what Katy is doing, and then there is a 6-inch block, which is what I'm doing. So you can take your pick. Normally I go tiny, but I figured this time I'd go big. So because we tried to change it up. You know, Katy's doing foundation paper piecing. I'm going Rebel, doing my own thing, doing it traditionally. She's doing the small block. I'm doing the big one. We figured it'd be fun to, change it up and give you different options. You know, she's using a white background. I'm using a black background. You know, it's fun to see all these different options, so that way, you know, it's not like a quick, the pattern is like the cookie cutter, but you can kind of do it however you want. So,
and I'm also using batiks, and you're using cotton, right?
Yeah, I might throw some batiks into it later, but I'm actually, I'm winging it. I'm just pulling stuff out of the stash, but I think it'll probably be mostly cottons for sure. But a batik may find its way in there here and there too. You just never know. So. But I think with that, we will go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. Definitely go over and check out Katy's channel if you haven't already done so. I know pretty much most of you are very familiar with Katy. I think you're all subscribed to Katy. If you aren't, go over and check it out and say hi. If you like what you see, hit that like button, subscribe, and check your notifications. I've said this a few times recently, but I'm going to say it one more time. Check your notifications. If you are getting notifications of your lives, other videos, and that sort of thing there as well, please check it, because some of them are not going through as they should. Giovanna's asking everyone to go check out Christina Home Affairs. She just got some very bad news about her health. Okay, let me just grab that.
Know who that. Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
We'll find out in a minute, won't we? Hang on. I'm not sure that I... Christina's Home Affairs.
I know that we had bad news I guess you and I haven't talked.
Right.
Something happened this week that's very bad to my husband's uncle, and he
I'm
lives
sorry to
here
hear
right
that.
in this. He lives here in this town, and it was very upsetting.
She's Australian. Okay, I'll just put her link in there. I'll have to go take a look at that video
I'll tell
shortly
you
as
off
well.
camera. I'll tell you
Okay.
off camera.
Okay, perfect. All right. Well, I have a podcast out. It went live while this was going on, so go check that out. It's always a lot of fun. You get to see all the wonderful stuff that I saw and did and everything else. I
Can
went
I
roller
make an
skating last.
announcement?
Yeah, go for it.
Wednesday at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time, there is going to be a premiere of a podcast interview with Sherry. So make sure y'all come over and sit with us while you watch the interview, and you can ask Sherry questions. You know, she'll be there as well, and just make sure to come over there and do that. And if you're not subscribed to Sherry's channel, you'll have a chance to click on the link when you come to the premiere and go over and share the love, because she's doing really good with her little channel.
Awesome. Yeah, she's a lot of fun. I had her on over here a couple of weeks ago, and she's a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely go over and check out her stuff. She has a lot of fun stuff. I'm just throwing the links in here as well. But with that, we are going to say goodbye because, yeah, I've got a bunch of stuff I need to do today. I spent all day up gallivanting around playing with sewing machines and fabric and all that good of stuff. And now it's back to our normal housework and that sort of thing there. But thank you all for tuning in this morning. It was good having Katy on and catching up with her, because this is sometimes the only chance I get to talk to everybody. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you all for tuning in. It was great interacting with each and every one of you. I hope you have a great day. Happy sewing, and we'll see you all real soon.
Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.